Welcome to the podcast where mental health is at the core of what we focus on. We strive to develop people like you to maximize who you are and what you've been called to do by sharing tools and resources for better brain health. And now here's your host, Juan Garcia.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We are excited because I am going to share with you under the topic of family of origin issues, this topic of dysfunctional family rules. Now, you know that there is no such thing as a perfect family. We all have issues. We all have some form of dysfunction. And so what I want to do is I want to try to bring some awareness as to specific rules that we either grew up in or we ourselves are implementing in our families without even realizing that they are dysfunctional. Usually when someone is living out of dysfunction, they don't know that it's dysfunctional. So I just want to bring some awareness. If you grew up in a family that you know had dysfunction, then you're going to be able to relate to some of these rules that you had to live by. And a lot of these rules, we live by them not knowing that they were rules, obviously, but also not knowing how unhealthy they were for our development, especially as children. You know, a home is meant for children to feel safe, feel protected, feel as if they have their own voice, feel that they have an identity and that identity is valuable and it's not found in things that they do, perform, or say, but rather it's found in who they are and how God has created them. And so a lot of these rules were being lived by dysfunctionally, not knowing that they were actual rules. So there's 9 rules, and I'm excited because the next couple of months we're going to journey through these dysfunctional family rules. Some of you may have reflection and you can laugh about it today. Others, it may bring back pain and tension and some resentment, possibly some unforgiveness that you still are experiencing. And so while I do not want to get too heavy and serious on the topic, I don't want to make light of it either, because I know that our family means everything to us. And so I just want to bring awareness. I want to potentially connect some of the things that we do or don't do based on these dysfunctional rules that we were living by in our family dynamic. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any suggestions, comments, things that come to mind as you're listening to this podcast, please like, comment below. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so, and share this information with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers. I am sure that this is going to help bring awareness and people are going to connect with the information, because these are 9 dysfunctional rules that by far, hands down, every family has been somehow connected to one of them, a few of them, or even all of them. And so now before we go there, Robert Subby, who actually wrote about these 9 rules, he says, from this point of view, codependency is a pattern of living, coping, and problem solving created and maintained by a set of dysfunctional rules within the family or social system. These rules interfere with healthy growth and make constructive change very difficult, if not impossible. So a lot of the issues that we face in our lives are directly connected to these rules that we had to live by in our family of origin, which produce a sense of codependency, whether it's the codependency to be obedient, to do everything that's asked of you and no questions asked, or whether it's the codependency of performance-based actions where we do so that we are valued and we are noticed based on what we do. These are just a couple of codependency traits or characteristics that we have found in individuals that are struggling with this big issue, codependency. And so it has the ramifications, pattern of living, coping, and problem solving created and maintained by a set of these dysfunctional rules. So I wanted to make sure that we have a clear understanding as to why this topic is important. And so Subby also goes on to relate that the real self is denied or repressed. This happens because of an erroneous assumption of love, acceptance, security, success, closeness, and salvation are all dependent upon one's ability to do the right thing. You see how important it is to discuss these rules, because a lot of sense of self that we now have issues reconciling in our lives is related to how we were brought up in this dysfunction. Our real self is denied or repressed. We don't get to say, we don't get to share, we don't get to do the things that normally you would be able to do in a family setting, in a safe environment, because it's denied or it's repressed. There are rules that have to be followed, and that has totally hijacked our identity, which is why we see the world the way we see it. Our worldview, our perspective of our worldview is tainted because of these rules that we're going to share with you in the next couple of months. Are you ready for rule number 1? Okay, here we go. Rule number 1. It's not okay to talk about problems. It's not okay to talk about problems. You know that if you grew up in a home where there were a lot of issues, this was something that you would hear. Everything that happens in our home is private, so keep your mouth shut, right? Family members pretend the problem will go away. They relieve tension by fighting about small, unrelated issues which have nothing to do with the reality of the situation. So everything that happens here, you stay quiet. You don't tell anybody. If there's abuse, if there's violence, especially children going to school, you don't tell your teacher. You don't tell anyone. This is our business. This is no one's business, right? And then family members pretend that the problem will go away. And so you see family members, they're still trying to have dinner. They're still trying to watch TV, still trying to do other things in the home or isolate themselves in the home. And as long as you don't bring up the problem or the issue, then there is no problem and there is no issue. And what happens is developmentally, we don't develop this problem solving skill, this coping skill in a healthy way. We don't tap into our cognitive way of understanding how this is a problem, this is an issue, and these are the best ways to handle these issues. That's why I thought that this dysfunctional rule series would be so vital for us to not only understand ourselves as to why we do what we do, but also understand the dynamics of relationships, why we suffer in relationships. Because one of the rules that we had to abide by in a dysfunctional family is we can't talk about our problems. And so when we feel anything that's threatening in terms of potentially speaking about a problem, we lock down, we don't want to talk about it, we flee, we do not want this issue at hand. And so we ignore it, and we feel that in time, as long as we ignore it, it'll go away. And what happens when there's a problem, there's an issue, not only does it not go away, but it builds with time. It compounds with time. The complexities and the issues that go unresolved surface in times, sometimes when we don't even expect them to surface, right? Because the problems and the issues that we're dealing with are connected to specific emotions that we're not even tapping into. And so when we don't tap into those emotions, as well as the problems, go unresolved. And then when something happens, we realize that we respond, or we react rather, to situations not knowing where did that come from. Well, it came potentially from those unresolved problems that we have on the shelf waiting for them to go away. They're not going to go away. We have to deal with them. But if we were taught that it's not okay to talk about problems, then we don't know how to deal with them. We never developed a healthy way of dealing with them. As a matter of fact, let me take that back. We do know how to deal with them. We deal with them by ignoring them. We deal with them by not seeing them for what they are, problems, issues. We also deal with them by allowing them to deal with us, because we end up codependently living our lives, whether it's some type of substance and we tend to abuse it. And it's not always alcoholism, it's not always drugs, it's not always all these substances or chemical dependencies that we know that are common. It could be something as food addiction. It could be image, body image, always in the gym. We want to look a certain way because we don't want to be looked upon as something less than. It could be so many things and so many methods that we tend to use, because as human beings, we are not designed to ignore problems. We're not designed to ignore issues. God gave us in the prefrontal cortex of our brain the ability to cope, the ability to conflict resolve issues. And we don't tap into that skill intentionally. We will use it for other areas or aspects of our lives, not knowing that we're trying to ignore the problem, focusing on something different. But the problem will not go away. And so the reason why I want to bring these rules is because these rules may have been rules that we've lived by that we didn't realize it, and now they are controlling our lives in different ways. And maybe you are dealing with issues today that you don't even know how to connect or say, I don't even know why I do this. I don't even know what led me to do that. I don't even know why I made the decision that I made. Well, perhaps it's because of one of these rules. Maybe it's this specific rule that you grew up in, that it's not okay to talk about the problems. Maybe all your life you've been ignoring issues and you're thinking you're an introvert, you're thinking that it's your temperament or your different type of personality, when in fact it's because you were taught this rule that you are not allowed, it is not okay to talk about your problems. So what do? Well, one of the things that we can use, or the antithesis of it's not okay to talk about our problems, is no family is problem free. We must address it in a healthy way. So it's not to say that, every other family may have some type of perfection. No family is problem free. Every family has issues. Every family has problems. It's the way we handle these problems or these issues. And obviously some families have better ways to handle because of their resources, awareness, whatever they've been able to grasp or get a hold of to help them navigate life. Other families don't. Now, this is not a time to have an excuse. Well, I was in a single parent home. Well, I was this, I was that. This is not where you insert those scenarios. I'm not saying that those are not justifiable or may not even be true. What I'm saying is this is not the time for that, because what I want to do is I want to empower you to look beyond what has happened and to focus on the here and the now and what's to come with these resources that I want to share with you, so that you're better for it. So that we're not living on, but if I had this, or if I grew up in this place or scenario, if I had two parents, if I had this, that. That's not what we want to focus on. We want to focus on the here and now and how I can use these principles that I'm learning now moving forward. No family is problem free. We must address it in a healthy way. And here's it. Here it is. The healthy family is not the family which is problem free. For no such family exists. Rather, the healthy family is one that faces their problems and challenges and seeks appropriate outside help. This is the key. I am in the work that I do because I care about people. So there are people like me that exist that are more than willing and committed to help people like you that may be dealing with issues that you can't resolve on your own. I talk to people all the time. I don't understand why people fear counselors or therapists. We love people and we want to build people up. And if you're having issues in your marriage, we are here to serve you. If you're having issues in your relationships, we are here to serve you. If you're having issues within yourself, intra conflicts that you're having, we are here to serve you. We want to empower you. We want to help you. We want to share resources that can help you along the way in your life. If you're a couple and you're looking to get married, please, I beg you, seek premarital counseling. I am a certified SYMBIS facilitator, which SYMBIS, SYMBIS, stands for Save Your Marriage Before It Starts. And what I do is I gather the couple, they do an assessment individually, and then together it collects the data and it prints out a report, and it shows the dynamics, the potential connection, the potential gaps, the flags, all of these things that we can discuss in a 6 to 8 session period before you actually get married. This is so huge and helpful because now you're going into the marriage with so much awareness, not perfection, not problems solved, but awareness, empowerment, so that what you're getting yourself into has all of the clarity that you need, that this is what you should be doing, and you're committed to that decision that you make. So reach out. Don't apply this rule to your life and to your family. Problems are not to be ashamed of. Problems are to be solved. And if you can't solve them on your own or in a healthy way, you need to reach out to someone that can help you navigate it so that you get the best resolution for it. So this is just rule number 1. Dysfunctional rules of a family. I'm telling you, I pray that this series will be life-changing and that it will bring some clarity, some awareness, and some truth to help you live your life how God intended it. The best life that you can live moving forward with the empowerment of what the tools that we're learning in this series. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you continue to follow us in this series. If you have not subscribed, again, please subscribe. Share this with your folks on your different social media platforms. Make sure you get the word out. Let them know you got to listen to this series, because there are some dysfunctional rules that we perhaps have subscribed to without knowing. But now the awareness is out there, and we will be empowered and will be better for it. And so till next time, I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast. For more information, visit our website at juangarciaenterprises.com. Our host, Juan Garcia, is available for speaking, coaching, and one-on-one counseling. You can email us at info@juangarciaenterprises.com. Until next time, remember, we only have one mind, so mind yours.